Good morning, everybody. We down at the shop Friday, June the 9th. And old Buster Clyde. There you go, Buster. Turn around. You know I called your name out. We down at the shop. Done went for a little morning walk. Got a few little projects we're going to do today. Been kind of a rough week. I think I may have mentioned on the last video. Something happened to my knee Sunday. Monday and Tuesday I was hurting. Feeling a little better now. I imagine it's going to turn into some kind of surgery pretty soon. Sure hope I can get my crops in before all that happens though. And crops, hey, we've been picking more squash than we know what to do with. In fact, I'll probably pick today's squash and just give it to somebody, really just to get a break. Cause, I cut up and put in the freezer 2 full baskets of squash yesterday. There's another basket sitting on the counter I picked last evening, and it'll need picked today and tomorrow and the next day. So, at some point, enough squash is enough squash. I been picking peppers. We put some bell peppers in the freezer too. Jalapenos, which, like I said, I don't eat too many jalapenos, but I like to add them to a hamburger every once in a while. Wife don't eat that kind of stuff at all, but I like it a little bit. I love jalapenos. It's just got to where my stomach doesn't like it anymore. I eat them and I regret it. Now, yesterday was kind of exciting day because I ate the first tomato off of my plants out there. One of them little Tommy toes was ready to eat, and I wiped that thing off and enjoyed it. So that was a good thing. Today, I'm gonna get on the Farmall. That little blue tank that sits on the back of the tractor is full of water, and I'm gonna go out there and put it on the sunflowers that I planted out there at the end of the cucumber garden. They emptied the tank out. I'll empty the tank out there, whether it's cucumbers or sunflowers or whatever. I'm gonna get it off. What I'm fixing to do is put my healers back on the front and my sweets back on the back, and I'm gonna go out there and heal my squash up. And I'm hoping I can adjust my little sweeps on the back where they're kind of level, and maybe I can level out my walking area, because that's what I see I have created with all the cultivating I've done. Now I got a pretty, where that back sweep goes in, it kind of leaves a bit of a trench, and it's good for weeds, but now it's time to pick this stuff and you're out there walking in a trench all day long. So I'm gonna smooth the trenches out on the squash, not on the squash, but on the okra with the tractor. And I don't own a tiller anymore, not a walk behind tiller. I got one goes on back of that Kubota. But I think I'm gonna go borrow my father-in-law's tiller. I'm gonna run down between my rows and see if I can't smooth them out a little bit. Now I've contemplated next year maybe making something that I can put on the back where my sweeps would go. Maybe even just a board. I do got a blade back there I could cut up, but it's really made to go on it's like an extra blade for my box blade when I got it. But I could cut it up and weld it on there, I guess, and make some little scrapes to go back there and level that area out. And I may do that, but I don't worry about it now. We're talking about something happens next year. So, there's all kinds of things. I've learned this year that'll change from next year. I'll pull my rows a little bit closer together. Hopefully I'll have a seeder on the tractor next year. I thought seriously about actually rigging up the Covington seeder on the Farmall seed plate. our cedar, where the cedar plate would go on this Farmall. And you know, I like the Covington planters, and I've got, you know, 10, 15 plates over there for them. But I don't know, we'll just have to see how that goes. I've contemplated so many things. I've sit there, been looking at walk behind tractors, thinking maybe an old Gravely or an old David Brown would be nice to have. Something I could run down between the rows after they get too high for the Farmall. I even contemplating trying to run the Skag between them, you know, just dragging something behind it. But the Skag, it's 52 inch, and it's just it's a little bit too wide for those rows. But I believe if I had a 48 inch, I'd run it through there. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna get out there and empty this tank, and then we'll put the healers on, go out there and fool around in the okra a little bit. Go from there. We'll bring you along with me. All right, here we are. Yeah, these little sunflowers are coming on up. This thing's supposed to get 12, 15 feet high. I just hope to entertain the grandbaby. I guess that's the only reason I'm planting them. They just look good in the picture. I'm gonna hoe out a few weeds. Put this water out here. Got me some cucumbers forming over there. I was working in the cucumber patch earlier today, kind of trying to get some of these vines to go in the right direction. Wind up this fence. And seen I had about 8 or 10 nice sized cucumbers forming. About 5 or 6 inches long. They're not mature yet, so I'm gonna leave them sitting there. This low squash patch over here, it's just, I started to abandon it, but I'll let it go ahead and grow. Now, notice the other one over there, it's growing real good. It's in better soil, but I also laid fertilizer beside the other one. I was actually just gonna let this go and plow it all under. So I never laid fertilizer by it. So it's just been unfertilized. Now I did fertilize it when I was to begin with. I laid fertilizer. Trying to think how I did. Well, I guess I done it with the Covington. Yeah. So the Covington put it in the ground, and the seed come in on top of it. So it's fertilized when it's planted. But right here, you can see that big pile of stumps. You can see out through the field there are all the stumps. I'm sorry, the roots. Where all these roots are just working their way back to the soil. Same way over in that little field right yonder below the corn patch. I don't know if you can see, but it's just amazing how many roots I brought to the surface over there. I don't know if you can even see it. I'm gonna walk over just a little bit closer. Now I'm gonna get over and hoe this out and dump this water out. Go find them healers, put them on there. And they should just be bolt on, because I mounted on them toolbars, and mounted them on them toolbars where I can just stick the toolbars on there, tighten a big 15/16 nut up, and they'll be ready to go. There'll be a whole lot of setup work to that. And same way, them big sweeps on the back, I'll stick them in, pin them on, go with it. But I gotta get this tank empty and get this little cart off the back. I can do it with a cart on there. It's just, you know, getting in there to it. It's not really in the way. Once you get the sweeps on, the cart's not in the way, but getting the sweeps on and off, it's kind of, you know, just makes it where you're having to reach up under there and bend around sideways, backwards, and everything else. All right, let's keep on going. Here I am in the garden. I'm looking at my okra. Got my healers on. Couple big old wide scratchers on the back. I'm debating in my mind whether I want to try to film this because it's hard to film and drive. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run through here with my healers and just roll a little bit of dirt up against these okra plants. And then it's just 3 rows. And then come back with my scratchers. And my goal with a scratcher is to try to knock down that hump between the rows, just to make it a little more comfortable when I'm picking. So let's see what I can do one-handed. I really just don't think I can do it one-handed. Let me run a row or two and then we'll just look at the results. Alright, that's exactly what I was wanting to do. I laid my low back scratchers flat. It kind of knocked this ridge down in the middle. It's going to make it a lot more comfortable be picking it, and I just ever so lightly rolled the dirt up against the okra. I sure wished I'd done all the rest of it this way. The last time I'd done the cultivating. And you know, I get to walking through that corner. I'm gonna be walking on a hump in the middle. But the answer to that, so I'm gonna go get a tiller and run down the middle of it and knock that hump out of the middle and make me a better place to walk. Yeah, this just feels much better. Hey, I got okra about ready to start picking. Look at that. Man, that's fixing to bloom out. Okay. It won't be long I'll come down here and this whole garden will be full of blooms in the mornings. Yeah, they're fixing to come on out. Squash is it's about to get as big as squash can get. As far as the plant goes. Now we'll be down here picking it again this afternoon. There's a basket sitting up there, washed and dried. I'm fixing to go up there and eat me a sandwich and sit there and cut it all, I guess, put it in the freezer. I just can't wait till all the tomatoes get ready. And that corn too, I'm excited about that corn. Now I got a little sprinkler system up there kind of keeping it damp. I mean, they'd turn it off. I wasn't supposed to leave it on as long as I did. But that's what I use right there is these big old points. I wish they were bigger. And I need to move them out a little further too. But hey, I like the way I just went over there and put the healers on with the toolbar. I'm just go to one bolt, take them off, throw them back and set them back in a pile. Same thing with the back ones. That I don't see until I guess the next thing I'll use it for when the squash is gone. You know, in a few weeks, squash it'll be all picked out, and I might come out here and plow it under. Maybe by that time the beans will be coming in and the corn. Okra, once it starts, it'll be here until the frost hits. Okras, I mean 3 rows right here, the first picking, maybe it'll be enough to cook us a good meal at night. then it'll be a half a basket full, then it'll be a full basket full, and it'll just be that way till till the first frost comes. Okra's one of those things, it just keeps giving and giving and giving until when you plow it under, you're ready to see it go. I'm excited about the corn though. Blueberries is not going to produce nothing like they have in the past couple of years, but we'll probably still add 5 or 6 gallons maybe, just in the way the plants look. I mean, we'll probably still add 5 or 6 gallons of blueberries to a freezer. And usually we clear out last year's and start feeding with the chickens, but no more than we have. I kind of got well, we've actually got last year's and year before last's blueberries in the freezer, so we're gonna have to make some room. Anyways, I love them blueberries, especially when it gets hot. I get them out of the freezer. Turn this whole camera around where I can talk to you. I get them out of the freezer and eat them frozen. Just get me about a half a Dixie cup full of them and walk out the door chomping on them. So I love blueberries. And the other thing is, just a few years ago, I didn't even like blueberries. Just didn't care to eat them. Now they're absolutely one of my favorite fruits. Well, all right, let's get the old tractor back in the shed, and I'll get this video uploaded maybe this evening if everything goes well, and show you what I've done today on my tractor. And we'll do another update Monday or Tuesday. Got a doctor's appointment Monday early. We'll just have to see what happens from there. One thing to say about this old Farmall, I got that step on it, which is kind of nice, and then I'm using that as a step, so it's helping me with my old hurt leg. Still easier to get on the Kubota though, but it seems like this is actually easier to operate because it's my right leg, and that Kubota's hydro, which I got to do it with my right leg, and it'll just start hurting as soon as when I get on that Kubota and go pushing and pulling on that hydro pedal. But anyway, so y'all keep me in your prayers. Hey, I'm just an old man just trying to enjoy each day as it comes our way. Hey, that's all we can do. Just thank the good Lord for each day, for the blessings of life. Make the best of each day and move on. My dad, he died at 83. I'm 61, which, maybe it means I got a few years left. Somewhere around about 79, 80, he kind of got dementia, but he worried about it for a bunch of years before he actually got dementia. And I always used to tell him, hey, just get up each day, Dad, and do the best you can. Don't worry about it. Worrying's not going to make things any better. And he's pretty good about that. And we all going to worry from time to time. I mean, I worry about it. I don't want to be a burden to nobody. But hey, this is life. Just stay close to the foot of the cross. Start by giving your life to Christ and stay close to the foot of the cross. And there's plenty of things that wants to drag us away from the foot of the cross in this world. But I think between my prayer walks and gardening and everything I do, it kind of helps me stay centered on where I need to be. The rest of the world can make its own decisions. I've made mine. And so have a blessed day. And enjoy your gardening and enjoy playing with your Farmalls or whatever you're working on, whether it's a Farmall or a Ford or a Ferguson or a Kubota or John Deere or whatever it is. Maybe you enjoy dirt bike riding. I'd done that for a bunch of years, but my knees probably tore up. But hey, I'm not going to have a dirt bike no more. I'm just a little too old for that. So have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next video.